think we've got some audio, we've got video, yeah. All right, so I wasn't the one who proposed these things, but I think they're kind of cool, and I just want to talk about stuff. So let's do a tour of the stuff and workflow stuff, yeah. All right, so first things first, let's do this camera. What's up? What's up, Marino? We've got Cosmo, we've got a central column of chaos, and then another modular over there. This is where everything started, for the most part. I mean, I had a couple other things before that, like these little addiction machines, the bucket operators, but I decided I was gonna try to get into synthesis by building synths, so I started with this module here, and it escalated quickly. In fact, yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you have any questions as I go along. I'm just gonna keep going through some stuff. Yeah, I don't even know if I want to call it a studio. Like, that's a weird word to me because it assumes I want to make music or something, but I just like making sound. Calm down, baseline. Yeah, so this case here, it's the first one I ever built. You won't be able to tell because of all of the warping on the lens of that camera. Makes this look like I cut things, nicely, but all the wood is very warped. The rails are warped. Everything about it is warped. It was like shed wood I found under the shed. Like, it was gnarly, but I liked the color of it, so I did zero sanding. I put it together, put a handle on top, and I made a synthesizer, right? Over months. That was my COVID project, I guess. And it's got everything you need in there: filter, stutter, some oscillators, obviously Magpie inspired stutter, some random stuff from other people. But yeah, that's that. I'm just gonna keep an eye on chat. Question: the E of the subscribe. Yeah. I thought it was funny, so I just left it. Okay, so it looks like most people are on YouTube. That's cool. Yeah, then I just kept building this thing, and I don't know if you saw my streams before today, but if you did, cool. But also I was in a laundry room for the most part. So like this and like some of this stuff were all that I could really fit in there because the floor is all crooked, and I was next to a boiler and a heater, and water pipes are right over it, and they're always at risk of freezing and exploding. So I was allowed to move into this room eventually. Turns out when COVID hits, you sometimes have extra uses for rooms because nobody comes over. Yeah. What else? Like, what other questions you got? I'm just gonna go in a like rambly format. What's up, Andre? I could just make some music, but I think that's not really the point of this. Oh, I'm sure you're getting like the super ASMR because I put on an actual microphone instead of talking through. Normally, I talk through one of these. Let's see. Let's turn that up a little bit. Yeah, and again, Magpie inspired, but with my own little twist. Honestly, the main reason I put that phone together the way I did, I had a different one before that I destroyed, was because I wanted to be able to hang up my microphone. Like, I don't want it to be always on. I made a janky foot pedal, my favorite foot pedal. Let's see. So I can mute myself. It's extra funny because it's just mostly referring to me. with other microphones before, so like a CB style microphone, even one of these, but when I realized I could just wire it up to hang up, problem solved. Yeah. I mean, I highly recommend that. For that reason alone, like the quality of the microphone doesn't really matter to me. There's some other like nice gems in here, but unless you have specific questions, I'll do like a broader tour, and then we can get into like specific weird module stuff maybe. At the heart of my setup, the brain of everything is this Apex, the hot box. Before that it was a Pyramid, and before that it was a BeatStep Pro. Obviously, as things escalated, I needed more MIDI ports, so yeah. But I do like MIDI. I do like this machine a lot, because it lets me do some cool stuff. Yeah, so I do a lot of sequencing and stuff on that. I actually like the playable grid. It took me a while to figure out this like funny little grid, but once I got it, pretty easy. What else? We've got my MS-10, which is a funky little machine for a lot of reasons. One reason is the way it was designed is that if I put control voltage in, so a gate and a the pitch control voltage into it, the keyboard no longer does anything, which is kind of a bummer because it'd be fun to have both, but I understand, actually understand why, but it still works just fine. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, yeah, that's the MS-10. It's one of my favorite sounds in the universe. It's the, my opinion, the best synthesizer in the world. Let's keep this going. Keep some music going. I feel like really awkward just like talking in silence. So hopefully that's not like super loud. I can turn it down or me down, whichever you prefer. Anyway, this I think is the perfect synthesizer in the world, to the point where beyond me just fixing it, I actually had somebody else fix it too recently, which was cool. Now I know it'll work. But also I sort of duplicated a similar sounding sound to it so I can play it when I'm not at home. I don't like traveling with it because it's brittle. Is the MSN better than the MS-20? Yes, objectively. Yeah, it's better for a couple reasons. One, it's only one oscillator. Two, it's got PWM. Now I will say that there are MS-20 versions that are newer, or like the desktop version, that have the ability to switch between different filter types and do some funkiness like that. Maybe I think one of them even has like some patch points where you can solder in a PWM CV input. But for whatever reason, probably just the single oscillator reason, probably just the single oscillator reason is the main reason it sounds better, I think. And you can turn the oscillator off on the MS-20, or one of the oscillators, but yeah, it sounds great. I love the PWM. If you take the reverse envelope out, go into PWM, you get some really gnarly bass stuff. So yeah, love that synthesizer. Got a Minilog XD and the Freak for chords, or just like ultra gnarly bass lines, like ultra gnarly. I mean, like if I just, let's see here. Find a nice one. Let's see, there was one that I particularly like somewhere. Yeah, they just make really gnarly sounds. Anyway, both of them, and it's funny, both of them have like a million cool presets, but I deleted them all off of the Micro Freak and just made my own. And then I did something similar with this one. I didn't actually delete them because I didn't feel like using the software, and it was like kind of tedious. So, like one thing that's kind of nice about it is it's got 500 presets, and if you go to the right, it counts up. But if you're at like preset number 1, and then you scroll left, it starts counting down from 500. So I've been making presets counting down from 500, and I'm only about like 50 in or something. But yeah, so that's how I did that one. I probably should load the software up, but I have an aversion to it. Am I streaming from a phone or computer? I'm streaming from a computer. Thanks, Andre. Yeah, I like it a lot too. It is a super cool machine to play with. The best synths don't need presets. I agree. Like the MS-10, I find is perfect. Everything is very performable. If I want to make it like sing-songy, I turn up the frequency modulation to like 1.25 or 3 or something. Everything's a little finicky, but like perfect. There's some nice portamento. Like I love the octave switch. A lot of modern synthesizers use either like switches like this to go up and down octaves, which is not very performable because you can't like go up 3 octaves in just a quick rotation, which sounds really nice. Or they have digital encoders, which aren't like the worst, but like it makes it a little harder to play when you're not paying a ton of attention to it. So yeah, perfect synthesizer. These are both really cool too. I don't know, I love those. Drum Brute Impact. Pretty solid drum machine. If you're looking for a drum machine, I would not recommend anything else to start with, for a lot of reasons. But my personal reasons were that the sequencer was really good on this. I liked the sound of it, so like that's probably pretty key. If you're going to get a drum machine, you should probably just like the sounds. You're not going to get a huge variety, but it's pretty fun. You can get like really long kicks, which I like. Very performative thing. I don't have to worry too much about it. And I also like that I can do really long snares. I wish that one was actually a touch longer, but like that's still pretty good as far as the snare goes, if you're doing more industrial-ish stuff. I mean, you could do like this track isn't set up for it. We'll just load a new one. New default, yeah. No, do not change the tempo. Okay, on the default project, if I go to this should be, oh, it's muted. I have a drum machine sort of set up in the Euro rack over there. Right here, better camera angle, sort of. Maybe not. You're just gonna have to trust me. There's a bunch of Euro rack right here, and I have like a little drum section up here. A significant drum section, which has slowly replaced the Drum Brute. But one of the things I really like is this tape loop player thingy, because I can make tape loops, 6 seconds or whatever. But it also has a radio in it. So right now we're listening to the radio, and I can make, as long as the noise as I want, filter it, whatever. Anyway, that kind of stuff. What else? The whole point of that modular was to have a portable setup, so if I just wanted to take that, I could play a lot of the tracks that I like to play, which worked. It was pretty fun. Did that at Freak Boutique in Denver a few weeks ago, or last month sometime. Yeah. Trying to think what else. I've got a bunch of little machines up there too that I really enjoy. Yeah. A10 Mini is what I use for camera switching. Is the most expensive camera thing, I think, because I'm running everything else on GoPro Hero 5s, which I think are like $100 used or something like that, 150, something like that. And I've just been slowly getting those. Hold on, checking chat. Am I used to playing live concerts? No. But, yeah, I mean, I'm used to streaming, and it's not much different. Like, I get way more anxious in person, but after I hit go, I have to pay so much attention to what I'm doing that I'm not too worried. Like, the stress level drops pretty much immediately. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. What else do I have? Camera setup, pretty good. Oh, this beast here, this big box, is actually a carrying case that I made. Like, the trend is that I make stuff. Like, I put together all those modules, and I made that goofy shelf. But this case that's now resigned to being a countertop was used so I could carry stuff to a live show. I wanted to play at, I was playing a patched out session, a modular show in Denver, and I brought this, like a portion of this, and then some desktop gear, so like the Micro Freak, a smaller mixer than that, the MS-10, my sequencer, and I'm trying to think of what else. That was probably about it. Or a drum machine, because this was pre-Eurorack stuff. But the thing about modular is it takes a lot of time to set up sometimes, and I was trying to reduce the amount of setup time, especially with like outboard gear. So I stole the idea from, I think, Analog Kitchen, I want to say, who makes these crazy cases with foam in them and puts all this stuff in there, and I just did that. So all of the external gear was pre-wired, which is cool, but it was also insanely heavy. But now it's a good desk, and I've installed towel racks, cheap Amazon towel racks on each side to hold the cables, because despite what the Eurorack people tell you, their cable holders suck. Couches are better than their cable holders. Chairs. Did I paint them? I painted some of them. Oh, sorry. What oscilloscope is that? That is a, I'll just start answering some questions. So this oscilloscope is a BK Precision 1474 XY oscilloscope. And the reason I got it was, one, I've wanted an oscilloscope for visualization. So if I do something like, I guess I should just do that, like this, you can actually see like the sounds of me talking. It's useful for debugging. So I bought a broken oscilloscope. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but it's got a big hole in the top of it where someone had soldered on a counter, so it would count cycles, like an aftermarket Radio Shack thing. But I removed that, and it just magically sprung back to life. So oscilloscope, cheap, that I liked. Shipping was the most expensive bit. And another reason is I wanted XY is because I was really fascinated by oscilloscope music. So if we switch over to this and load up Spookfist, which is the name of the track. I misspelled it, but I kept the misspelling. Is the track I played at Magpie Fest. Let me just mute this real quick. And so if you're looking at the scope, I go to XY mode and do it right. You'll see pictures on the screen. Yeah. So that's that's one of the reasons I got the oscilloscope. Like, I just like the look of it. Like, it's pretty medium crappy way of visualizing things, but just excellent in every way. Hold on, this thing just bugged out. Just updated 10 minutes ago, so I have to report that bug. But luckily, it's like insanely fast at loading at this point. So anyway, while that's running, I'm gonna read some more questions. What do I use the CRT for? Yeah, that's a good question. Let's put it on something melodic. Yeah. No. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So, yeah, looks like my volume level's fine. Okay. What do I use the CRT for? Visualizer. I have the Critter and Guitari video synth thingy, black and white, 3D printed enclosure. But I just like the way the visualizer looks. Initially I got the TV because I was going to gut it and turn it into a second oscilloscope, which I still may do. Better watch out, TV. But for now, this visualizes in a way I like. I don't know, I think it's cool. Also, I may hook up Duck Hunt and stuff so I can play Mario. Next question. Yeah, I'm very particular about cable colors and the colors of the modules. Okay, so next thing, colors. Yeah, so I liked the black panels that came with some of my first modules. Like, I would purchase the PCB and the faceplate, and then I would source all of the rest of the stuff. And they came in black with silver, and I really liked that aesthetic, so I kept it. So the modules I built myself, like some of these, or like some of the stuff down here, like I just made, or like that just painted them black. I've even like Cosmoified a Eurorack module or two, I believe. Yeah, two. Like, this is the Big Honking Button by Winterbloom. Wait, why aren't you making any sound? Oh, you are. Yeah. Anyway, it honks. Keep this going. Keep the energy up a little bit. We'll check the chat again. Yeah, okay, next thing. Workflow. Okay, so I leave a lot of stuff pre-patched. Like, this is big, but it's very simple. It's basically 2 MS-10s in terms of like the modules that compose it with some like bonus effects. Like, there's not a lot to it. We've got a MIDI to CV module, a couple, handful of oscillators, 1 filter, like a reverb here, or not reverb, delay, things like that. So there's not a lot to this one. So I leave it, a lot of it pre-patched, and then I'll patch things up as I'm doing sound design. But the reason I do that is because I want to make sound as fast as possible. Like, I don't want to come from a blank slate and start patching every time to make a sound, or I'm just never going to do anything. I'd rather like make a dumb bass line and then mess with the sound after that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and I do that with the other one too, to an extent. This one gets a lot more play, with the exception of the drum section. I mean, it's drums, like, you can get really crazy and modulate them, but I mostly use them as drums. And I just repatched everything today. Curiously, but all my levels are off because I rearranged all of the mixing. So it's good enough though. What's next? What else? I do have a piano right here. You're not going to hear it because it is not plugged into that mixer at all. It's just I just use the headphones out and the MIDI out from it. Basically, I was talking about this grid here to compose tracks. Anyway, sometimes it's nicer to just change the thing that you're writing songs on to get more interesting melodies. So like switching from that to guitar or guitar to a piano. I don't know. That's just one of the things I like to do. Trying to think of what else. I hardly, like this mixer is fantastic because you can split out all of the things into individual, like every track can be recorded individually in stereo, so it records like 14 tracks simultaneous or something, or it can be an audio interface. I use it for that a little bit, but turns out I don't like doing that so much, and I also like to keep my setup pretty close to what I would do in person in terms of like where the mixing is done, just for familiarity purposes. Like right now, all my mixing is really done via some sub mixers here and there, and the performance mixer in the Eurorack side of things, which is annoying to get stuff from here to over there, but whatever. Not really that big of a deal. This one's a pretty cool module I made for DEF CON. There's these little LED friends that they sell to put on the badges that you get there. And so I made a module for it, breadboarded it, put some mounts, and made it CV controllable. So if I take like a bass line's a good one. So let's take the trigger from the bass, which would be number 3, the gate, I guess. Pull that, split it. Probably could, in your, like, there's other ways that are a little more efficient than this, but this will work just fine. For demonstration purposes, put one of these back in the bass so we can still hear it. And then another one up here to do, I don't know, the dragon should, well, they're all solid, so let's make them all light up to the bass line. Let's see, is this a good bass line? Yeah, let's get a better bass line. Different song. Okay, good, we've got that loaded. Is it muted? Okay, there, you can see an example of it lighting up to the sounds, and they're normal and all of that. Anyway, that's a cool module, I think. Another thing about the yellow I like the yellow cables. They're easy to see when it's dark. Like, it's just nice to play with this stuff when it's a little darker because the LEDs just are magic. But yellow cables I could see. I like rainbow cables. Actually, for a long time I had like a complete rainbow plugged into the mixer, and every Eurorack power cable I made, I chose rainbows because like it's just cool to power stuff with rainbows. I don't know, but I didn't like. It was like hard for me to see things when there were rainbows because, you know, again, dark. So I just went with all yellow. The length doesn't really matter to me, or like changing colors for length or anything like that. Yeah. Anyway. What else? Oh, lighting is kind of a pain. I don't know how most people really do that. Like they have some like big studio lights. I like got spendy and got a couple of like LED square light things that if I change the camera angle you'll see, and they don't look like they're doing much right now because it's daytime, and they're really not. Like they're probably brighter on camera than in person, but they can change colors, and that's sometimes cool, I guess. I don't know. I'm leaning more towards just like regular old white light or that kind of stuff. Fun fact, this bulb has been going for 14 years. Or you can't even see it, this bulb here has been going for 14 years. It's just like an old Edison bulb that gets really hot. Yeah, I got it in one of my old places because I wanted some ambiance, and then it just never died, so there it is. Dusty and fingerprinted and still working. I have some other random noise making machines too I would talk about. I don't know. Like soft pop is one of the things I'm the most in love with, because it's just a creature that makes sound. I don't know. Really nice synthesizer. All right. I'm gonna have to change this adapter because it's falling apart. The joys of buying stuff as cheap as possible. Sometimes secondhand. There we go, I can hear myself and the music again. This song is the one I wrote for Magpie Fest 3. And it's just one of my favorites. I keep coming back to it. So Magpie Fest 3 was pretty awesome for me. Still fun to play every time. I don't know what else you want in a studio tour. Like we can look at the back of the room too, I guess. I have to keep the middle open. Let's see, I'm looking at this camera. I have to keep the middle open for guest inflatable mattress, holidays and stuff. Not a big deal. Closet is full of pillows, sheets, things like that. Guitar, some records, not a lot of records. This is the entirety of my record collection, which is a fair amount, but most of them were given to me by like relatives who were throwing them away, so lucked out there. I don't listen to a ton of them that often, but it's nice to keep the music stuff together. I got a Nintendo here, probably will get circuit bent at some point, or at least hooked up to that TV, maybe both. Some stuff down here for, I don't know, various projects in the middle, of, yeah. So that's pretty much it. I have a couple HS7s. If you're into that sort of thing, are nice, but I use headphones. AKGs are the way to go. Yeah, that's the tour. Computer over there, usually hidden because not really using it for much. Like, this is definitely, the Hapax is definitely the brain of my system. Like, that's the thing that I do all my work on. I tend to think of things as like voices rather than specific instruments. So like if I took this and like went to somebody else's house, I could probably play this track. Like I could make it work just by plugging into their instruments and like going up or down a few octaves or whatever needs to happen. But this is the way to go. I don't care if it sounds the same every time. Clearly. And listen to that filter, first filter I went. Yeah. Anyway, let's just see if you have any more questions. I will answer them. Otherwise, I'm gonna maybe just play some music. Up to you. Oh, this case. I haven't talked about it. It's a Cosmo case. This is what, you know what, maybe I can try a different camera. Let's see. It's gonna be kind of shaky and I apologize, but I'll do my best to like make it point at the thing. Hopefully that's right. Yeah, okay. This is what my Cosmo cases look like. They're plywood with some random bits of wood. Don't think this is plywood. Well, don't know what kind of wood this is. Probably not pine. It's kind of harder wood. Top rail might be. But yeah, a couple of Meanwhile RT65Bs in there. Some nicer bus boards because I don't know why I splurged on them. I was just lazy. I didn't want to make them out of strip board because the strip board's really like flexy. And if I make it out of strip board, I have to put lots of bolts in. It's just kind of a pain. And then I've got a couple of like Cosmo modules just kind of sitting around ready to be plugged in. But because they're wooden rails, I sort of want to get everything exactly where it's supposed to go before plop them in there like that. I do have this prototype spring reverb module that's pretty gnarly plugged in, and then I've got this other module which was designed to be a Eurorack module, which is sort of like I don't know, Speak and Spelly in a way, but it's just a speech synthesizer. It's not working perfectly yet, so it's just sitting there. It doesn't like some of my keyboard, like my computer keyboards, which is like you can type in words or letters and it'll trigger those over and over again or whatever. It does all sorts of cool stuff, theoretically. Yeah, but this Cosmo case, right now it's mostly a shelf. Oh, scale, in case you're curious. This, oh geez, uh-oh. Please don't break. Come on, buddy. All right, need 2 hands for this. Ow, your ears. Okay, this is the size of a Cosmo module. This is a Eurorack module. This was ported from a Cosmo module to be Eurorack. But the Cosmo module was originally this size, so like if you're wondering about scale differences, like, pretty big difference. What else? Oh, also the M8 is what I'm using for playing samples because it's the best. Anyway, I'm gonna just make some music now, and if you hate that on a tour, that's fine. Point this at maybe something, I don't know. Probably fine. All right, let's make some sounds. Should I start from scratch? Yeah. New, yeah. Okay, let's go here, mute that, go here. Start with drum. Maybe you start with the. Why are you still muted? New firmware always throws. I'm gonna mute that too. Turn that off because I'm not using it. Let's go down to. All right, so the Hapax is kind of cool because you can set a root note, and then you've got your cool grid and tell you where you are. But we'll just be lazy. Cool. What were you in 4? That should do. Oh, too low. Bear with me, this stuff takes a second sometimes. Oh man, I realize you can still hear me talking and breathing. I missed a couple questions actually because I didn't notice the scroll back, but what was I going to say? Mixers, do they affect the sound? Yeah, probably, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what mixer you have, it's fine. In my opinion. So let's copy this, paste that over here. Go over here, effects. Seems like a cool arpeggiator thing. Apologize, you're just listening to me talk and make a very generic track, which is okay. But maybe it won't suck, I don't know. Let's delete that. See what happens when you change everything around without paying too much attention. I meant to do this one. Go over here. Have some bass in the meantime. You should be one note lower. There we go. Sorry about that. else you want from me. So yeah, that's the tour. No, I also always have water because it's good to hydrate. or other stuff, but right now it's water because it's in the middle of the day. Yeah, thanks for watching the tour. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate a bunch of you showing me how to do random DIY stuff a long time ago, including this kind of stuff. Yeah. I also really appreciate like the pirates, the Magpie Pirates. I think are really cool because like y'all find like what other people would be like, oh, that's trash. And you're like, oh, I can use that to make cool sound stuff. And I've done that a few times. Like these speakers salvaged from a circuit bent to death keyboard. The amp behind this thing that's not plugged in currently but does function is like, you know, one of those cheap little Marshall amps that you put on your belt. So, you know, I can make really very high fidelity music play out of this if I really want. Anyway, stuff like that I find really cool, and y'all do a bunch of that, so yeah. Hope you're not listening on good headphones though, because like there's some stuff with VCAs that don't get all the way quiet, which drives me absolutely crazy, and I can hear it all the time, panning around, just that noise of panning. Yep, that's it.